One winter night, high above the earth, where storm clouds gather and cold winds blow, all the little water droplets began to freeze and turn into snowflakes. As the snowflakes fell from the clouds, they were amazed at how different they were from one another. But Lacey, the tiny snowflake, didn't want to be different. She was so tiny, the winter wind swirled around, while the other snowflakes, with their splendid shapes and pretty patterns, all floated down around her. Lacey wanted to be like them. As Lacey danced in the wind, she noticed Crystal, a lovely snowflake, gliding by.
You are like me. All snowflakes are made of water.
But you're perfect.
Nobody is perfect. But all of us are special. We all have inherent worth and dignity. We are all part of the interconnected web of nature.
But how am I special?
Because you are you.
How am I special? I don't understand.
You will.
How am I special? How are you special?
I'm a fluffy snowflake. I make the snow deep. That is how I am special.
But how am I special?
I am a delicate snowflake, and I make the snow I am a slick snowflake, and I make the snow slippery. That's how I am special.
How are you special?
I'm a delicate snowflake. I make the snow soft. That's how I'm special.
But how am I special?
Just before the sun began to rise, the winter wind howled one last time and blew all of the snowflakes down to the ground, all of them except Lacey. The tiny snowflake took one last whirl in the wind and then slowly floated down, 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 until she came to rest on top of the blanket of snow. Everything was dark and quiet.
Maybe tiny snowflakes like me just aren't very special.
Then, as the bright morning sun rose into the sky and peeked through the clouds, something wonderful happened. Lacey began to sparkle.
That's it. I'm a sparkly snowflake, and I make the snow glisten. We do all inherit worth and dignity and talents that bless the world, even tiny snowflakes like me.
And Lacey, the tiny snowflake, was just happy being herself, knowing that she played an important part in the interconnected web of life.
It was deep winter, and the snow was falling steadily upon the hillside. A tiny mouse crept out of its hole for a little break in its long winter sleep. Drowsily, the little mouse looked around and twitched its whiskers and would have gone back to sleep inside its hole had it not a tiny voice echoed from somewhere out in the white winter world. "Hello, little mouse. Can't you sleep?" The mouse looked around and caught sight of a tiny bird shivering on a bare branch just overhead. "Hello, Jenny Wren," said the mouse, pleased to find some company on this bleak day. "I just came up for a bit of air before I go back to sleep for the rest of winter." But it was good to find company for a while. The mouse and wren sat there together, huddled beneath the lowest branches of a pine tree, watching the snow falling and enjoying a little congenial conversation. "So how much do you think a snowflake weighs?" the mouse asked the wren suddenly. "Well, a snowflake weighs almost nothing," said the wren. "A snowflake is so insignificant. It carries almost no weight at all. How could you possibly weigh a snowflake?" "Oh, I disagree," said the mouse. "In fact, I can tell you that last winter, around this time, I woke up from my winter dreaming and came out here for a breath of fresh air. And because I had no companions and nothing better to do, I sat here counting snowflakes as they fell. I watched them settling on these branches and covering the pine needles with a blanket of whiteness. I got as far as 2,492,359. And then, when the very next snowflake fell and settled on the branch dropped right to the ground and all of the snow slid off. So you see, just that one last snowflake weighed enough to make that branch sink down and all the snow slide off. So a snowflake does weigh something. It does make a difference. The wren, who was only a tiny little bird herself, didn't think she had much influence on the great big world around her. Pondered for a long time over the mouse's story. Perhaps, she thought to herself, it really is true that one little voice can make a difference. And right now in our world, many of us feel like snowflakes, drifting in the great big sky, unsure if our actions make a difference in this world, wondering where we might land. It seems to take so much just to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. Kindness seems to be in short supply. But I believe that just like these snowflakes that broke a large branch, we too can break down the barriers to justice. We can smother hate with love and kindness. We can make the world seem new again. And just like snowflakes, we are all different. We are all imperfect. But when joined together, we can bring injustice, intolerance, and hatred to a halt. We can smother the darkness and reflect back the light of goodness, of equality, of love. Today, I invite you to think about what kind of snowflake you might be. In our small dome during coffee hour, there are paper snowflakes set out. I invite you to write down one small action that you can do to break down injustice and strife and cover our world with our Unitarian Universalist values. These snowflakes will be displayed to remind us each Sunday to work towards a more just and a more equitable world. Every small act of kindness, justice, and peace moves us closer to the tipping point of a world we envision. I wonder which one of you will be the one to break the branch.
Just as a tiny snowflake gathers together to create dramatic change in our world, let us go forth and use our collective power to create change in our world through justice, kindness, and peace.
Touch each other with gentle